What's up, guys? Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com with another free nightly video, and we're just going to kind of compound on what we were working with last night here in this plan and kind of how all of these things are going to move and flow together and go from there with it. So with that, I want to jump back and take a look at the Sunday plan here because it kind of comes into play today here. So with respect, we were looking at the SPY here, same levels apply to the S&Ps, and we'll look at, I used the S&Ps in the morning write-up this morning, but so we talked about this 435, 55s. We came up, we tagged this 440.38 level, we opened above it. And then what I wrote is, this can happen on Tuesday here, meaning today, if 435, 55s are lost. Now, it doesn't end up taking place today. We did, in fact, trade up into those 440.38s. And then we just failed to hold those today, right? So we managed to pull back, test that area, tried to get something going here. You can see on the small time frame 2-minute chart, we tried to get something going from there and just unable to do so, right? So if we do trade 430.65s, that's going to be, further on down the line, right? But we've got to take out this 435.55s. So for right now, the game plan in which I have is, hey, under 435.55s, we can look to get short. Now, I think we might actually kind of try and pop up here somewhere up over like 439.50s, right? Which would be, 44.13s or so, 44.15s in the S&P. So like a 12 to 13 point pop from where we're currently printing at. And then from there, I think we roll over and kind of take out those 43.75.75s. It's the same level there for the SPY, and then get that next leg to the downside. And then from there, like I said, I'm willing to potentially be a long, kind of coming into the end of the week as long as we can trade those lower levels, right? Now, one thing in which I think can happen, well, I'll tell you in just a second, but this was the game plan for today, right, is if we can get a gap up over 44.25s, it gives us a couple things to work with. One, we can pull back, hold that level, and then trend back over opening print. And if that happens, then we got room higher, right? So 44.72.50s. I didn't think that was likely going to hit today. On the other side, if we open above that level, 44.25 quarters that we're looking at, and we start to trend below that level, it opens up the potential for 43.75s to get taken out, and then we have shorts on the table. And as you can see, same exact thing with the SPY. We trade right off the open, lower, higher, right into 43.25 quarters, literally to the tick, and then we roll over from there. Now, the other thing in which I think can happen here this week that I'm kind of keeping an eye on is we have NVDA earnings coming up tomorrow after the bell. Now, NVIDIA here over the past 2-3 days has just been absolutely crazy, right? It's put in a big bar. Last week there had a pretty impressive daily push there, gapped up and then, sucked some people in. Did the same exact thing here today, was able to make a nice move yesterday, gap up here, and then, is now failing that. And anybody that thought, hey, new all-time highs today in NVIDIA is going to be perfect, I'll get long this, all those people are now trapped. If you got long today, unfortunately, there was many of opportunities, many of times in which this should have been stopped out here in the downtrend. But anybody that's still holding it is completely trapped here. So with that being said, I think the potential here for NVIDIA to gap down, somewhere in the 420 area, maybe a little bit more than that, may in fact take those people out that are currently trapped. And then if that happens, that's when I think we get that gap down in the SPY down in towards that 430.65 level. And if we can get that, if we can open from there, try and go lower, fail, and then rally, that's kind of what I'm thinking is, the potential for the bottom for this week. Now, a couple things that kind of play into this, right, is that I'm looking at NASDAQ here, and if we look at, the action right now, we've got these untested overnight lows down here around 720s in the NASDAQ, which is currently like 250 points away. So I do think that that area can trade And we can test this 708.50 level because remember, S&P's SPY, those both tested that level, the 435.55s. The NASDAQ here, the QQQ, it has not, right? So I'm kind of thinking the best potential on the board here is that we can go lower from here, tag these levels. Maybe S&P's makes those new lows, gets to that lower level. SPY gets to the 430.65s. And then we can rally into the end of the week here towards this overnight high that we didn't trade today, which is like 15,117, right? So I think there's potentially 250-ish points, 270-ish points to the downside right now in the NASDAQ. And then from there, as long as we can hold and NVIDIA doesn't get absolutely annihilated, then I think we have room for about 400 points to the upside. Now, this could also play the exact opposite way here, where we try and go higher first and then fail up over those 15,100s, and then we've still got that 400 potential down into 14,708.50s, right? So there's a couple of different ways in which this can play out, but those are going to be the areas and the levels in which I'm watching for this to take place. And again, a lot of that is most likely, unfortunately or fortunately, probably going to depend upon NVIDIA, because that can, in fact, move this NASDAQ. So anyways, that's what I've got here for tonight. Take care. Hope it helps. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.